What if I told you that the quietest person in the room might be thinking the most, but showing the least? You've seen them. The one who listens more than they speak. The one whose face barely changes, even when everyone else is reacting. And no matter how hard you try, you just can't figure them out. Are they shy? Judging you? Bored? Hiding something? In this video, you'll finally understand why quiet people are so hard to read. And more importantly, you'll learn how to read them better than almost anyone else. And trust me, stay till the end, because the last insight is the most important. If you miss it, you'll keep misunderstanding quiet people forever. Let's start. First, quiet doesn't mean empty. Most people assume that if someone isn't talking, they don't have much going on inside. But in reality, it's the opposite. Quiet people often have more thoughts, not less. They're constantly observing, analyzing, and processing everything around them. Imagine two people watching the same situation. One reacts instantly, speaking whatever comes to mind. The other stays silent, thinking deeply before saying anything. That second person, that's why they're hard to read. Their thoughts are happening internally, not externally. So while others show their mind, quiet people hide it by default. Now here's where it gets interesting. Quiet people don't express emotions the same way. Most people rely on obvious signals, big smiles, loud laughter, clear reactions. But quiet people often express emotions in subtle ways. A slight nod, a small change in tone, a quick glance. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss it completely. Think about this. Have you ever thought someone was uninterested, only to later realize they were actually paying close attention? That's the quiet personality in action. They're not emotionless. They're just low volume. And because we're used to loud emotions, we struggle to decode quiet emotions. Now let's go deeper. Quiet people are selective. They don't share everything with everyone. Instead, they choose carefully who gets to see their thoughts, their feelings, and their true personality. So if you feel like you can't read them, it might not be because they're confusing. It might be because you haven't earned access yet. And that's not a bad thing. It's actually a sign of emotional control and self-awareness. They're not trying to be mysterious. They're just protecting their inner world. Now here's a small story. Imagine a workplace meeting. Everyone is talking, throwing ideas around, trying to be heard. In the corner, there's one person sitting quietly, just listening. At first, people assume they have nothing to contribute. But then, at the end, they speak. And when they do, it's clear, precise, and powerful. Something no one else thought of. That's the difference. Quiet people don't speak to fill silence. They speak when it matters. And because of that, their silence gets misunderstood. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how do I actually understand them better? Here's the key. Stop focusing on what they're saying and start paying attention to patterns. Quiet people reveal themselves over time, not in bursts. Notice what they consistently react to, what they engage with, when they choose to speak. Do they lean in during certain topics? Do they open up more in one-on-one conversations? Do they respond better in calm environments? These small patterns tell you more than words ever could. And here's something powerful. If you give quiet people space instead of pressure, they open up naturally. Most people make the mistake of forcing conversation, asking too many questions, filling every silence. But silence is where quiet people feel comfortable. Respect that silence, and you'll start to see who they really are. Now let's talk about the most important point. Quiet people are not hard to read because they're hiding something from you. They're hard to read because you're using the wrong method. You're trying to read them like loud people, but they don't operate that way. Once you shift your approach, once you slow down, observe, and listen differently, you'll realize something surprising. They were never confusing. You just weren't tuned into their frequency. And here's your takeaway. After watching this video, you'll be able to understand quiet people on a deeper level. You'll stop misjudging silence as disinterest. You'll notice the subtle signals others miss, and you'll build stronger, more meaningful connections with people who don't express themselves loudly. Because sometimes, the quietest person in the room isn't empty. They're just waiting for someone who knows how to listen.